Hey, how's it going? Cookies here, and today I just wanted to talk about healing Prideful on the various healers in the game. So we're going to start off this with Resto Shaman and go through a couple recordings I have of me healing these Pridefuls in this 21 Spires, and just talking about how my mindset is when healing Pridefuls as a Resto Shaman. So the first major thing with Resto Shaman is they are probably the strongest at just raw throughput in the game right now. So healing Pridefuls should feel relatively safe and simple on a Resto Shaman because of just the amount of HPS that you provide. So there's a couple important factors to being able to heal Pride. The first one is doing damage early on. So hopefully we see, I haven't reviewed these clips ahead of time, but early on, you should always apply at least a Flame Shock to the Pride when it spawns, if not followed up by a few Lava Bursts. What I'll usually do is Pride will spawn, and I will just put a Flame Shock and both Lava Burst charges, if I have them both available. I'll just throw them both into the Pride, and I'll even throw some Lightning Bolts and stuff, as long as the group's still pretty healthy, because these first few ticks of the Prideful are going to do little to no damage. So it really doesn't matter. So what I typically do is I will throw down Healing Rain before the Pride spawns. So here, instead of this Healing Surge, I would have thrown down, in an ideal case, so there's the Healing Rain right there as it's spawning. So I throw down Healing Rain, and then I apply Flame Shock to the Pride, and then I should be dropping a Cloud Burst pretty shortly after, throwing some Lava Burst out. So there's the Cloud Burst totem, I just threw it down. And now what this allows me to do is I just have a couple Riptides out. I can throw another one out if I feel like I need to. I have Healing Rain down. So I have those Riptides and this Healing Rain feeding into my Cloudburst. And then I'm just doing damage to the Pride, because when this Cloudburst gains this healing from these spells, it's going to just heal everybody back up to full HP without me having to really do anything. So I refresh Healing Rain. I'll throw out a Healing Surge. This is Grievous, so this is why I'm being extra careful. But in a key that wasn't Grievous, I would be able to just leave people kind of dropping to half HP, and this Cloud Burst, when it pops, it would just pick everybody back up like that. But on Grievous, obviously you want to be extra careful and keep everyone at full HP at all times. But the mindset is the same thing. Try to do damage early on to Pride, because every little bit of damage helps. Like here on this Pride on Grievous, I did 22,000 damage. That's not a huge deal, but that could be the difference in us getting an extra stack at the end, or an extra tick of damage at the end, or an extra few ticks of damage at the end, depending on how much damage I can deal. So it's very, very important as any healer to try to put as much damage as you can early on into the Pride without endangering your group. The second thing is, this was a full pug, but if you're ever in a group with friends or guildies, or you're in comms for whatever reason, always try to be vocal about people using their defensives. So try to learn what defensives the different DPS classes have, and call them out to tell them to use them. So here, if I was in voice with these people, when the Pride's about 50% HP, maybe 40% HP, I would call for the mage to use Alter Time. He uses it here anyways, but in a lower key, or again, I've even done 22s where people will hold their defensives. So calling for them just really helps, so that they don't have to think about it as much. So here I would say, go ahead and use Alter Time, and then that tells me that I do not need to heal the mage whatsoever for that entire Alter Time. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of wait a little bit, and then I'll say, all right, Alter Time's expiring. Druid, go ahead and Bark Skin. Monk, you can go ahead and use your defensive too, and now I don't need to heal the Druid or the Monk very much. I can focus my healing back into myself, the mage, the tank, whoever needs it the most. But the idea is you want to rotate those defensive usages towards the middle to the end of the Pride. And then the last thing I'll kind of go back on is the use of Cloudburst totems. So we have those Cloudburst totems from earlier, when we started the Pride. And then we have, as soon as this Cloudburst expires, you should be dropping another one almost immediately. If I have a Healing Surge out, I immediately drop another Cloudburst. I'm also refreshing Healing Rain if it's hitting more than 3 people. I would say if you can hit 4 people with the Healing Rain, it's worth putting down. Otherwise, you probably shouldn't. And then also, for most Prides, you should try to have at least one major cooldown. So here I have Spirit Link. In most cases, you're going to probably want Ascendance. That's usually like the best throughput cooldown for Pride, because Spirit Link, you know, it helps, but it kind of still keeps people in danger, because as soon as the Spirit Link expires, everyone's going to be pretty low HP, and the Pride's going to probably kill some people. But saving one cooldown at least for Pride is very, very good. So let's go ahead and look at another Pride here. This was the second Pride in the dungeon. So again, what we should see is we should see, go back to the start really quick, we should see that Flame Shock applied early on. There's that Flame Shock. We throw out a Lava Burst, we throw out another Lava Burst. Throw out a few Riptides, we have Healing Rain down. We could have had Healing Rain down a little bit earlier, so it would have fed into this Cloudburst a little bit better, but that's okay. And then I'm going to drop Ascendance about a quarter, almost halfway through the Pride. Really push the numbers here to help with these Grievous stacks, because with Grievous in specific, Grievous Pridefuls, it's all about staying ahead. So you need to pop the cooldowns a little bit sooner. Like on a regular Prideful with no Grievous, I'd probably pop Ascendance around like 40 to 50% of the Pride's HP, depending on the key level. But I pop it early because with Grievous, like as soon as you start falling behind, as soon as player starts getting 2 stacks or 3 stacks, you're on you're on a ticking time bomb from that point forward. So you need to pop your CDs early and keep everybody at full health for as long as possible. And then also with Prides, if you have the mana for it, if you're not low mana already, you should be just only using Healing Surge. Like that, you should never press Healing Wave unless you're specifically trying to hold on to mana, because when the Pride dies, you get all your mana back and you're at full mana. So you should definitely just always be spamming Healing Surge as like the main option. And that's pretty much it. Using Riptide on cooldown, keeping Cloudburst down. I think here, let's see if we get a refresh on the Cloudburst right away. So we have this first Cloudburst. It pops and picks everybody back up. And then we should see a Cloudburst dropped almost immediately again. There it is. And there you go, right back into Healing Rain, Riptides, and then spamming Healing Surge. And also with these Cloudburst totems, one thing to keep in mind is you should just let them naturally expire and heal everybody unless someone is going to die. You only ever, and this is even outside of Prides, you only ever press Cloudburst a second time to reactivate it and pop the healing if someone is going to die. That's the only time that you do it. Otherwise, just let the Cloudburst naturally expire. And we'll go ahead and look at one more Prideful. Again, we throw down Healing Rain, get a Flame Shock on the Pride, throw out 2 Lava Bursts, put some Riptides out, get that on cooldown, throw down our Cloudburst totem, refresh our Healing Rain, throw out another Lava Burst, there's a Lightning Bolt, and now I'm going to see if I actually refresh this Flame Shock, because I should. So like, see right there when the Flame Shock expired, again it's Grievous, so I'm like more concerned about that, but I should be refreshing the Flame Shock here because there's plenty of time for me to refresh the Flame Shock. Like there I just used the Healing Surge that just overhealed me a whole bunch, and there I kind of stood still for a second deciding on what to do. So that's when you can kind of try to think about refreshing your Flame Shock on the Pride, because even just refreshing it, like it's going to help you do a decent chunk of damage to the Pride. So again, if you're just starting out of like trying to do a little more damage in keys and stuff, and you're trying to build this mindset, just start with Flame Shock. Just start by Flame Shocking the Prides. Don't worry about Lava Bursting or anything like that. Just try to keep refreshing Flame Shock on Prides, and then move on to like using Flame Shock on bosses and packs and stuff like that, and try to just keep Flame Shock on cooldown as much as you possibly can throughout the dungeon, because that'll help improve your overall damage a lot. And then you can eventually, once you feel more comfortable, start weaving in damage spells like Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Lava Burst, all that kind of stuff. But at least start with Flame Shock, because that's very important, and it's pretty much free. So I think that pretty much covers everything as far as the Pride healing. If I missed anything, let me know. If you guys have any questions, let me know. One thing I will mention about Pride's health pots. Health pots are huge on Prides, even if you just use them yourself, because again, if you're pugging, you're probably not going to get DPS and stuff that use health pots. So just using it yourself will pretty much make it to where you don't have to heal yourself for a few seconds, so you can focus your attention on other people. Same thing with defensive. Use defensive, use health pots. And that's about it. So have a good one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.